The recording is start here. It's
Okay,
all
thank you.
about
So welcome all the viewers. So I would like to like share my screen with the PPT. I think it's visible, right? The screen. Yeah. So
yeah. Now it's visible. We can see.
the best practices in learning and teaching. That's my topic. Of course, it was a wonderful evening with a lot of insightful speakers giving a lot of ideas. So I'm going to start. The
Yeah,
main
sure, doctor.
agenda of this topic is teaching philosophy. We already having the WAT model and the COPS model, and finally, I would like to share my idea on agile teaching and learning. So in the WAT model, actually, they are following different styles like visual, auditory, then read, write, and finally the kinestics or the feel. And in the COPS model, that is diversifying, then feeling and working, then converging, then accommodating, and finally in the agile teaching and learning, we are following a feedback method. Okay, so that's you're going to see. So the philosophy of teaching, what the student does is more important than what the teacher does. So here the role of student is more predominant than dominant than the teacher. So it's like an iterative process. Like we must have a concept of student does it more important than what the teacher does. So student plays a vital role. Now I'm going to the pictorial representation. Know your learners. First of all, you can see this image. Lot of learners are there. Some are sleeping, some are attending, some are talking, some are writing. So a teacher must able to identify the learners. Then only he or she can adapt according to the situation. Next one, learn by sharing. When a class is not attentive, the teacher can do some extra mile effort to make the class more effective. This is one such example. Learn by sharing. For example, if I want to in the I'm just giving an example, not in the case of higher education, like making a sentence, giving framing some letters. I'm writing some letters and telling the students to stand in a line to make it frame it into a sentence. Okay, this can happen. The letters can be framed into words and the words can be framed into sentences. So it's like an activity they can share, they can learn, their creativity will be developing. And next one is teach how to learn. Many students, including myself, when I was a student, now also I'm a student, I'm learning many things. Till the death, we are all students. The thing is that some situations we ourselves have to design a learning methodology. So a teacher must able to implement or execute new learning methodologies and motivate the students to develop their own learning skills. There are traditional methodologies like reading, writing, listening, but apart from that, the students can learn from different attributes, like there are a lot of extra features available nowadays, extra options are there. So they have to experiment all these things. So teachers have to motivate them. Then now this pictorial representation of a software development and higher education gives a clear-cut idea. We can see in the case of software development, a developer is there and finally the product is being given to the customer. That means the software. The customer is having a GUI, that is a graphical user interface, where he or she is using that software without any knowledge of coding. So that interface, that collaborative part where the marketing, where the updation, where the error handling, where the feedback, everything is done. And if there is any problem, it will be acknowledged to the developer. And finally, they will be rectifying all these things. So it's a cycle process and updation has to happen in the software itself. Similarly, in the case of higher education, the teacher or the institution plays a vital role to mold the students, to nurture the students from one level to the another. There must be a transformation, a good transformation, which is beneficial for the society as well as to enhance, to enrich their professional capability. And finally, that product is given as an employer to an organization, as a professional to an organization, to a company, to a corporate, to a business person, anyone it can be. And here the feedback is not happening. So we need to provide that feedback as a teacher, as a professor, as an institution in order to ensure the quality of education. So this is an example of all these things. Now I'm moving to the next slide. Yeah. So now we can see extreme independence. Now all of us have to be independent. Independence in the independent the way. We must be independent in doing ourselves. We should not be dependent on anything. And agility, that is ability to learn in a quick or fast pace, must be there. So we have to see what is this agility, that is ensure different learning needs are created to rather than just following a predefined plan, making sure the whole class is in sync with the material being taught, making sure the class, both teaching and learning aspects, are constantly on track by day one. That should happen. And extreme, if something good for teaching and learning, we go for the extreme and do it continuously. That extra mile attitude should come from the teacher. If students learn better by teaching, they should be allowed to teach and share their knowledge constantly. That motivation should come from the teacher, should happen inside the class. Teachers encourage to solicit students' feedback on the teaching constantly and from day one. This is the last but not most important thing, that feedback should happen. If there is any pitfalls or shortcomings in the methodology, it has to be rectified from day one onwards. And that is the most highlight of that philosophy of agile learning. Okay, then that independent part, train the students to learn the learning process, take the role of teacher out of the loop, empowering the students with skills for life, long learning. Then these are the, diagrammatic representation of agile learning and teaching learning cycle. Adjust, adapt, monitor, lecture. There is a loop. Loop in the sense it's an iteration. It's a cycle. If one of, we have to do the follow, always it has to be followed. That monitoring, that adaptability, that lecture, the feedback, the practice, the individual attention, everything is in a cycle process. Then finally, feedback, as I have always mentioned, feedback is good. It's required for betterment. And after your class or after the course, we must be stay connected with them. There comes the mentoring. We must go from the extra mile of a teacher to a mentor, to be their friend, to be their guide, so that you will be connected. They will be asking you more questions. There can be some collaborative projects or exchange of knowledge and ideas. And for highly effective practices, teachers clarify, classroom discussion, feedback, and metacognitive strategies. So let's see what is this clarity. Teachers clarify purpose and learning goals of the current topic, present the learning outcome about the topic to the student, which increases their interest level. So we have to create the curiosity among the students. Classroom discussion should happen so that they will be able to like share their views, their ideas. Then finally, I have mentioned about feedback also. So let's now explain the metacognitive strategy. What is it? First, we have to understand what is metacognitive. It means big thinking, project think tank, something like that. We have to think beyond the box. We have to think something big. Thinking about thinking or what you know or what you don't know. Examine your learners' brain processing. Teachers work to guide learners to become more strategic thinkers by helping them to understand the way they are processing information. It is how the product is being developed. We have to think, do, fail again. We have to do. It's a continuous process. Then these are some of the strategies. First, we have to understand what is it means by big thinking. Then how to plan, provide opportunities. We need to provide the students to plan, recognize, and even monitor their own learning and to self-reflect along the way. It helps to boost their confidence level up and make it connect between topic and the knowledge, sometimes also help in correcting them and their understanding towards the topic, because learning will make you more perfect, like that sharpness will happen in a long way. And finally, I'm concluding, every teacher is unique. So is there classroom also? So what might work for your classroom may be entirely different than what may work for your colleagues. It will be different. You can have your own methodology. All are unique. By using a combination of teaching strategies and changing the mix every once in a while, your classroom is sure to become an enriching environment for you and your students. So wish you all the teachers and professors a wonderful evening. So I am happy to share my ideas. Thank you. So that's all. Any queries you can ask. Yes, Professor, can you hear
Thank
me?
you, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Hari Krishna.
Yeah, thank
Thank you
you.
for your kind and valuable presentations
I should
from
extend my thanks to
speakers.
Professor Nada for giving this opportunity, because she only gave the link for this program. So I convey my gratitude and thanks to Professor Nada and all the professors, because It's a long time from morning, and I was watching in between because all the presentations were giving some good insight and enriching ourselves and motivating ourselves to participate again and again. Yes, Professor, please, up to you.
Exactly. That's a summit we have arranged. In 1 week, I have started here and at 10 o'clock Afghanistan time. Still now, I will continues and I'm chatting with the speakers, their times. I'm on the coordination with them till to now. We will be till to the end of the last speaker of this international summit. We are so grateful to participate in this valuable international summit, and we hope in futures we have various symposium, workshops, seminars, and even though we are working here to bring the speakers physically to Afghanistan here and visit here to our country and deliver lecture seminars here in our country. We have the programs in futures, even though we have one organized here, the governmental universities of Kabul organize one international conference on water management, even though if someone would like to make some research paper, and they will publish that research paper in a Scopus journal, even though they will invite the participant here, they will make the transportations, air tickets, accommodations, and hotel, everything. So they will take the responsibilities. If someone interested, I will share the details to them. But we also working on that. Thank you once again, Dr. Har Krishna, for your valuable and kind presentations.
Thank you
From a
all.
speaker or a participant, if someone have any questions, you can do it. Otherwise, we have our next speakers. Dr. Javed is here with us. He will present his presentations to the participant. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you.